Whether it's the regular season or the off-season, we have you covered as we give you the best Tennessee Titans and NFL news and insight that a fan could ask for. You're watching the Titan Upload Network. The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Wish we were talking on a Monday to where it was a victory Monday, but the Tennessee Titans unfortunately go on the road and get slapped around by the Washington Commanders, 42-19, and in a game where we thought that some momentum was going the Titans' way, they were potentially going to have an opportunity to build and stack wins. Here we go again. I guess that'll have to wait, potentially, maybe down the road, maybe next year at this point. I don't have any full-on options or answers at this point, but I definitely can get some more options and answers from my good friend and partner in crime, Tyler Staggs. Tyler, I guess happy Monday in the sense of, I guess as good as Monday can be, but nonetheless, man, it's just disappointing the fact we've got to talk about another loss again, and some of the same old problems just rear their ugly head at us. I can't even talk. I'm so furious about this.
Me and you were texting back and forth yesterday, and I told you, like, at this point, it just the letdown yesterday. Like, you know, I could handle them losing if it was a game where they were playing good ball and the Commanders were just better. Now, that being said, the Commanders were just better yesterday, but the Titans didn't. It was just a letdown after seeing what they were able to do in Houston. And I don't know if they were still taking their Thanksgiving nap or what, but they didn't show up, especially in the first quarter, to play that game.
Yeah, as you said, I just feel like this was a team that was still pretty much just chilling on the airplane. They didn't get off. They didn't come in and play, at least to win. Not in the first half.
Mm-mm.
But I digress. I mean, somehow we've got to talk about this show for at least an hour and talk about this game and see what we can get out of it and trying to come to any rational conclusions if the Titans are going to have any kind of opportunity at maybe getting another win or even stringing a pair of wins along this year, which looks possible, especially with the Jaguars looming next week, but we'll get into that more. Well, Tyler, I guess we might as well get into the kickoff because Lord knows this is going to be a long one, but we'll try and get through it.
Let's do it.
Jumping into it at the top of the hour, I'm your host, Michael Bishop, joined as always with Tyler Staggs on the Power Hour, and let's get into the kickoff right now.
And here's the kick.
Oh no, Jackson fumbled it. Yeah, I had to get that. I had to get that punch in real quick. So on a reaction Monday,
did you see on X where right now Jackson is leading at like Pro Bowl votes as a return specialist?
I genuinely feel like somebody's trolling us.
I promise.
I really feel like somebody's that is a troll job. That to me just feels like a literal troll job.
I saw the list and I was like, you've got to be kidding. What's he specialize at on returns? Fumbling the football? So just had to throw that out there right quick since you mentioned Jackson fumbling it.
I mean, have a barrage of fans. Is there like just some kind of get together we don't know about Jackson and fans are just kind of having just a pity party for him? Because this is what it kind of feels like.
I think it was just people thought they were voting for who had the most fumbles on the year, lost or not lost, and people were clicking Jackson's name.
Lord, I don't know. How does it we just end up? How do we keep ending up being the butt of some of these jokes? Just once I'd like to laugh and it just be legitimately for something that is funny, at least from one standpoint on that.
Right.
Oh, goodness. Get into our comments real quick before we get going because, yeah, this is going to be tough to stretch for an hour. And I don't want to chew anybody's ear off about what we already seen. Shout out to Titan Bros. I know he's crying inside, and I think we all are. Shout out to you as well, Titan. Good seeing you on the show. Our good buddy Al Pierce. Yep. With my skinny self, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Al saw the same thing on X, so not too far-fetched. I do think that kind of feels like a troll job, honestly. I'm just so tired of being the butt of the joke, though. At least if you're part of something that was supposed to be relatively funny, I'd kind of feel a little bit better in that scenario. But I don't know. It's enough to make me just want to just tear my hair out at this point. But hey, we got some really good news, and this definitely sets the narrative for something positive that we can talk about. So, shout out to Titan for the super chat.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Going into the pot, and this one's for you.
Wow! Look what I found, Ma!
So Mike and Tyler, have the Titans played a full 60-minute game this season? Maybe in Houston. What do y'all think the core problem is? Coaching or players or both? Tyler, I will let you take this question first, and I will jump in with my thoughts.
So to answer the first question on if they've played a full 60-minute game, I think the Houston game was, I don't even know if I can say that's a full 60-minute game because you had the first 2 minutes of the game where Houston had the huge kickoff return and then scored right away. You had that happen, but I'll give them the full 60-minute game there. And maybe the Miami game. Maybe.
I don't know.
But core problem, I think at the root of it, it comes down to a combination of both. Because I think there are times where we see this coaching staff, you can see that they have a good game plan in place. And then they maybe get put behind the sticks with penalties, this or that, some players not executing to their full ability, and that kind of kills it. But, as far as the actual game plan, you sit back and look at it, looks good. But then you also have times where, like this game against the Commanders, I feel like some of it definitely has to fall back on the coaches some for not having these guys more ready to go or more fired up after a big win last week. A team, especially if they come out that flat, I can understand maybe the first drive or two being flat. But after that point, coaches got to get into these players and be like, look, y'all got to wake up. Did y'all really just fly out here to take a butt whooping and then fly back? So, yeah, I'm going to say it's kind of on both. You have a first-year coaching staff. You have a lot of new players added to this team, some young players added. So, yeah, both.
Out of the 3 wins, I'd have to say no. we haven't played a full 60 minutes. We've yet to play a full 60 minutes, in my opinion. I just feel like I can't say it's a major core problem. It's youth, it's inexperience, and it shows itself at the worst of times. It's just discouraging because we felt with the Houston game, it was a step in the right direction. There were still things that were going to have to be worked out. There were still problems. But for the most part, I felt really good about a situation that this was going to be a team that could actually get a little bit of momentum and build it in a positive aspect. I can't say 100% sure realistically since really the preseason. I don't think since the preseason where we've actually had like just a legitimate just opportunity at seeing these guys play well. And I mean, shout out to the boss, man. We did. We did. And, that pretty much just came back and was a positive reinforcement on our end. Pretty much. But let's put it this way. And I think by next year, the system will be a little more integrated. Players will be a little more comfortable. And it'll be guys added on through the draft, through free agency. And I think health will be a key component here. ESPN's already got Callie on the hot seat as one of their coaches that should be on the hot seat, which is ridiculous in my mind. Mm-hmm. Because the last thing you need to do is fire another young head coach and then be back on the board. Who are you going after? I guarantee you the best 3 coaches in the league aren't going to go to the Titans. Not if you let go of a coach you just hired last year. So I think there's good things they're doing. I just think it's a process. I don't have to like the results right now, but patience is a key here. Yesterday was pretty much a prime example of what happens when I think guys feel them a little bit. They feel a little bit themselves. They're feeling confident. We're just not there yet. There's just a lot of work to do. And Al brings up a good point at this way, and I think anybody on the practice squad would do better, especially on kick returns. And, of course, Kinsey's definitely going to be the guy that I think that's going to get some looks this week, and I think that's what's going to happen.
I think he has to. Like, you can't keep you can't just keep putting a guy out there that because of his potential big play ability, like in order to have that big play ability, he has to be able to hold on to the ball. And if he can't do that, then you can't trust him to be out there. And I'm tired of for the last 3 years now, this is what we've been through. It's been, okay, we're going to throw Kyle Phillips back there. First game, he has a good return. After that, it's muff punts, it's fumbles, this and that. And, okay, we'll put Mason back there. Mason fields the punts, holds on to the ball, makes smart decisions. Well, hey, Phillips is back healthy. Let's put him back out there. Right back to the same old thing. And then now this year, Jaquan Jackson, putting him back there. He's had some okay returns. I'm not going to say there's been any that's just made me be like, wow. A lot of the times I'm questioning his decision-making on why he's bringing it out. And then he can't hold on to it. He's gotten bailed out by his own guys a couple of times, them being able to jump on it. But I can't keep going through that. Like, we're already bad in pretty much all other special team aspect except for Nick Folk kicking our field goals.
Yeah.
Like, fix a problem and put a guy back there that's going to hold on to the ball.
Or at least make positive yardage at this point.
Right.
I would love to see somebody run for at least more than about 8 to 10 yards. That would just tickle me silly. And, of course, top tier, this is how bad we are. We're already bringing up draft picks from previous drafts. I know, Malik Washington. Come on, top tier.
Quiet, you.
We don't need any of that. I'm just kidding. I love you, buddy. But God, this is just so hard. This is so hard to find anything just positive to even talk about without really just giving away the whole show. Let's put it that way. Because, I mean, there are a couple of things we can't talk about in a positive light. But then what are we going to talk about for the next, I don't know, 45 minutes? I mean, let's ask this question, Tyler. And I think this is a valid question to answer right now. Did the Titans basically set themselves up for failure yesterday?
In what aspect, I guess?
In whatever aspect you want to take it. I'm giving you the entire Autobahn to run down, hit the gas pedal, let the clutch loose, fire away. But I'm just warning you. I know you're probably going to be really, really into this take, and I know you're going to like throw down seriously with some mad takes on this because I see the anger fuming in you. Like you've got some old school Eddie George. I'm about to punish somebody for this, and this is going to get nasty.
Put him away, Eddie! Do it right here!
So it is going to get bad. So go for it.
Overall, I think they set themselves up for failure. I think they beat Houston last week, and after the game, all of them were talking about how they wanted to get that win for Miss Amy, especially. Okay, you got that win. Now, y'all are talking each and every week about, hey, we gotta be able to stack these wins. We gotta keep fighting every week. And you are heading into a game with the Commanders team that over the last couple of weeks has been struggling. And I don't think they really took it serious enough. I don't think they prepared hard enough. I think after the win, they were just kind of lulled themselves to sleep. They just kind of went through the week. Then, of course, you have the holiday. And when they got there, in the back of my mind, I'll tell you the moment when I realized it was probably going to be a long day, and that was the opening drive when they first play. Latham, false start. Like, okay. Now, next play, don't remember. I think Washington was in the neutral zone. Should have gotten that 5 yards back. But it is what it is. And then a couple of plays later, you have NPF, false start. At that point, after the first drive, I knew this was going to be a long game because they were already getting in their own way. And because usually their first drives overall, how many times has that been something that we've loved and talked about on the show? Their first drives looking so good.
Quite frequently.
And whenever they went 3 and out, I was like, yep, it's about to be a long game. And they basically kept handing Washington more and more momentum. With the 2 fumbles, they couldn't get out of their own way. So since they couldn't get out of their own way, since they couldn't stay out of their own heads, since they came into this game lackadaisical, they set themselves up for failure.
That seems like an understatement. I mean, if you stepped away from this game, if you felt confident where, you were running late or you had errands to run and you came back into the end of the first quarter and you saw the score, you literally just going to lose your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just be real. It's a youth transition. It's a team that is missing so many pieces. I feel like there's just this team might be a draft or 2 drafts away from really just finding any kind of just relevant talent that's going to help them excel to the next level. And when I say next level, I'm talking about just compete.
Mhm.
I'm not talking win. I'm just talking competing. You know, I feel the pieces are there. I feel that we've got some nice guys that I think can contribute if we can keep them healthy. This week's going to be pretty, jarring, especially, with Hooker. We don't know the situation. We don't know the situation with Kenneth Murray Jr., as he has a hamstring issue going on right now. So, I mean, Tyler, I look at the remaining games on the Titans' schedule. Jacksonville could be a potential sweep. I'm not saying it is or it isn't.
Right.
But, I mean, with Trevor Lawrence missing some time, I mean, you think that's a positive there. But, hell, with the Titans against backup quarterbacks, I kind of feel like you need to bet money against them at this point.
Yeah, I can't remember if I texted this to you or not. I'm wanting to say that I did. But I told you that I was, over the last couple of weeks, like before this Washington game, I was actually so much more at peace with whatever happened because I didn't expect a lot from the team. I mean, I was at the point where I pretty much went in and I expected that they were probably going to lose. They would make it a fight, but they would probably lose. So, yes, the losing sucked, but it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I kind of knew it was coming. After that Houston game, my expectations, and this is on me, I let my expectations shoot back up with this team. And what did this team do in return? They kicked me right below the belt in the first quarter to bring me back down to earth. And, yeah, like I said, I was a little bit happier when I was like, okay, I pretty much expect them to lose. But no, I picked them going into this game.
Yeah, I even scratched my head on that one, to be honest. It's pretty hard too seeing you pick the team to win and you feel confident because I get it. You want to pick confidently and actually see the prediction happen. I mean, it was devastating seeing you pick against the Charger and their one fan.
Yay!
But I mean, that's just how it goes.
Right.
But let's just take it this way. Through everything that went wrong, I have to say, at least in the second half, there was some fight. I'll give them credit for that. I mean, they didn't just lay down and just die.
Right.
I appreciate the fact that they kept fighting, even though Washington basically had all the wheels turning. And give Dan Quinn credit. There's a reason why he got a second job. Let's not forget. Atlanta was a pretty good team until they just had to start letting guys go because they were getting old and overpaid.
Right.
So let's talk about Washington for just a second. This is a pretty good football team, and I think they could get into the playoffs, especially in year one. And Jaden Daniels is a problem. He's going to be a massive problem for the NFC. He's going to be a massive problem for the NFC East. So, what's your take of Washington in this game, Tyler?
My take of Washington in this game is I'm going to say they got their swagger back. That's my take. Because I mentioned how, especially with a rookie quarterback, think about this. They started off the year hot, and then they had lost 3 in a row heading into this game. They lost to the Steelers, then to the Eagles, and then to a Dallas team that has Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback.
What is wrong with Trey Lance that they keep holding him back? That's a fair question to ask right now.
That is. But, after dropping those games, Washington, it was kind of one of those things where it was like, okay, is this kind of that fall off? Teams are figuring them out now. Are they going to have a back of the end of the year slump where that causes them to miss the playoffs after they were looking so promising? But then they come out and, like I said, they got that confidence back. And I think, especially with how the NFC is shaking out right now, they're a team that can get into the playoffs. And they're a team that if they get, right now, if they get hot, I think they're a team you don't want to see in the playoffs because they can make some noise.
Yeah. I can agree with that. It's always a young rookie that a lot of people don't have tape on. I think it's fair to say Jaden Daniels is I would say he's this year's CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
The skill set's similar, the play's similar, but I think right now it's a 2-horse race with him and Bo Nix. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how both their careers pan out, especially if Washington can continue to put the right offensive coordinator in front of them. But, however, I just feel Washington is definitely going to have a lot of long-term success if they can continue to build in the right direction. And shout out to ownership. They're doing all the right things, and Washington fans are finally seeing some dividends pay off at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Top Tier says, I won't get dragged back in after they beat up the Jags this week. Top Tier, I hope you're right. I really do. But with the backup quarterback situation, I'm very, very much sitting on pins and needles at this point. Ted says, how did we have the hardest schedule in the NFL? Somebody had to take a Titan. How do we keep getting stuck with refs that are going to call BS calls on us? I don't get it. As soon as I found out Tolbert was calling the game, I was like, oh my God.
And
this is going to be a long day.
I don't want to hit on the officials much this week, but how is there not going to be offsetting penalties on that kickoff return where we get called for a block in the back, but they grab Chestnut's face mask and almost rip his helmet off?
I will go after him. I'll go after him right here because this is what the platform's for. Do better, NFL. I'm tired of being your whipping boy. I'm tired of being your excuse. I'm tired of being the underlining thing. Roger Goodell show up to the game, but when it comes to the damn officiating, they won't do anything better to fix it. So do better. I'm tired of getting watered down scotch. You say you're the Premier League. Be the Premier League. Shout out to Carrie, by the way. Do like that button and don't forget to tighten up that like button because that's important. And Titan agrees. So thank you very much. Should we have expected more from a Bill Callahan O-line? Right now, Titan, you look at what we have. Skoronski's getting better. I think that's one positive you can take away from that. Latham has kind of had a tough couple of games, and it's pretty infuriating. But the talent's there, and I think when he has a full year under his belt, he'll get better with time. Because you look at a lot of guys that Bill had, it's a process. They have to get comfortable in the system. They have to get comfortable with playing in the NFL. So it's hard to say that we consistently are going to have to see change right then and right there. But, with everything that we need and continue to need to be better, it's just pretty hard in that aspect of just really where we're just trying to continue to put the right pieces in with the right people. So I know this is tiresome to hear every time, but it's all about patience. We just have to be patient. As frustrating as it is, is where we all want to go back. And Tyler and I talked about this last night. You know, I want to get back to our winning ways and talk about winning and playoffs and all that junk. But we can't do anything without the right ponies. And some of the ponies we got, they're still getting broken. So it's just a process at that point. I mean, bros, that's true. We were winning. Then we finally broke through. And like Derrick Henry was talking about on a podcast, we had the team, but they broke up the band. But when you run out of money, that kind of happens. And when you miss on draft picks, that happens.
And when your GM trades arguably the best receiver in your franchise's history,
so far,
that happens.
I'm going to throw in so far because I feel like I got to give that asterisk just right there.
Yeah, I'm fine with throwing in the so far.
Tennessee Technical, good seeing you. I feel cheated from the very top of the organization, ownership all the way down to the players on the field. And that's understandable. I can't say anything that I know that's going to make you feel better or more confident in the future, and it sucks. The whole thing sucks. I mean, the fact we have to come on here and talk about a show where there's literally nothing positive to talk about but in small little spurts, especially after having a show where we're consistently looking like things were going to get a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Then you basically get punched in the stomach and reality sets back in. I mean, it's a process. All you can do is just show some patience. Just take it on the chin. You know, what's the saying? Endure. Just take it. That's all we can do. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. But it's all we can do right now. And I just hope better days are on the horizon. Keywords hope. It's a good thing. It's a positive thing, but at the same time, it'll drive even the most sane of people mad. But before we drive you any mad, or madder, or maddest, or however you want to say that, because my English is not so good, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, Titans, Commanders, oh my God, we're going to talk about this game more. So let's just get you a break in real quick, and we'll get back to that and endure.
Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from its favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. The NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. The AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports. Real coverage for real fans.
You're watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming you on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Guys, you have been killing it in the chat. As always, we can't expect a good show without you, because without you, the show don't go, and all that good stuff in between. So, guys, before we get to our next segment, if you love the show, help it grow. Follow us on all our social media platforms, whether it be X, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Twitch, whether it be Facebook, or even YouTube right here. Make sure you share the show before we go, and as always, it helps the algorithm get better. And, of course, don't forget, it's important that we continue to build you great shows and give you all the Titans and NFL insight we can to make this a better program for you. So don't forget, sharing is caring as always. And we love you guys for everything that you do and continue to support us in all the right directions. Well, Tyler, I have to admit, last week, even with the win going on, I had so much going on with work, and apparently our licensing agreement for the music basically expired. So I spent most of my week last week like revamping everything from music to sound effects, and it was pretty exhausting. So that's just part of the stuff you guys don't see. I had to spend roughly about 2 hours before I had to go to bed in order to revamp and revitalize everything, because unfortunately, YouTube is going to like now pull a copyright infringement on us if we don't. So, yay, fun. I mean, you want to find a good way to kill 2 hours. This is a good way to kill 2 hours. But I digress. I do it for you because I care. So, you're welcome. I love you. Well, all right, Tyler, what do you say? I guess we'll try and find something good about this show. Something good has to be talkable in this segment. Shall we give it a try?
We can try.
Well, before we try, let's get into some more comments, because honestly, I'd rather do that before talk about this. To be honest. So tighten up to you, Jay. Good seeing you as well. Willie says our expectations for the team to start the season were like a guy that goes into his fridge and picks out a little bit of each of his favorite meals from the last week and says, if I put all this into a blender, it has to be good. I mean, depends on the food.
Yeah.
I won't say everything will mix, but I mean, if you mix the right things, it's possible. Unfortunately, this meal just hasn't worked out so well. Hence where we have 3 edible meals, if you want to say that. All the parts have been good by themselves. I hope they were, because if you were throwing garbage in the blender in the first place, you were doomed for failure. Al says, even Stonehouse looks bad this year. Can you say bad special teams coach? Al, I can and I will. Bad special teams coach. But we're going to have to hold on to him and try and figure out what we need to do next year, because that's just part of admitting being a good coach. You got to find the stability in admitting you're wrong and going out and finding the right guy in the first place. So that's just part of it. So hopefully they do the next cycle, if that's the way they go. She says the special teams has not been good besides the actual kicking. I'll give Nick Folk his roses. That's about the one thing on special teams I can truly say. Tyler, please gush about Nick Folk a little bit. That might be one good thing we can gush about on this show.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I see Nick Folk going out there, I'm like, okay. Like, I know we're, as Jay's saying, we're getting the good part of our special teams. Like, when I see him going out there, I'm not worried about anything. I'm like, he's going to go out there, do his job. So
I agree. Makes me feel calm when I see Nick Folk just march his little chubby self out there and just handle business. I'm just calling it what it is. Dude's 40. He ain't got to be looking good for nobody. He's a kicker. Come on. Titan, well, if I get beat by the great, we didn't give effort yesterday, but what makes me upset?
Basically what I said earlier. Like, if we would have actually competed, then, okay, I'm fine with that.
Pretty much. She says, thank you, Titaneer. And it looks like we are rolling in some dough, Tyler. I mean, we're getting spoiled. This must be, it's either everybody's loving us right now, or this is just a really bad show, or everybody's just feeling bad for us, because we got our second super chat in there. So thank you, Two Tone Titan, and you get the button.
Wow! Look what I found, Ma!
Thank you for hosting an effort. Tighten up. Thank you, Two Tone. And I promise you, this will go to a good cause. Just goes in the bucket, and we handle the bills. So we appreciate you for that. And Shay gives a salute to you as well. Al says, good thing is Levis is slowly progressing, and that is a good thing we can talk about, Al. So promise you we'll talk about something positive. And Titan asked the same question. Do y'all see measurable improvements from Levis? I guess people want to know. So we got something to talk about, Tyler. So let's jump into it. You ready?
Let's do it.
Jumping into segment 2. Let's roll with it right now. Boo! That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. No confetti this week.
Nope. Not even ticker tape. No. I'm just glad my grandfather and my father aren't here because I would have gotten the business yesterday. I would have gotten the business, and that's all I can say. But I digress. Boo! So let's find out what we loved. Can we say that's fully true, though?
No, we can't.
We were working angry that day. We were very much working angry. You can see the hate in that nothing. Yeah. I made that. That wasn't the little nothing. That was the big nothing.
And I want to put a disclaimer out there to everyone. Usually after the game is when Michael and I get together. I send him my list of things that loved, hated, surprised, all that. We were putting this list together before halftime. And that was truly when there was nothing to love. And Michael, I can say, as you said, this is not fully true. I have thought of one thing yesterday that I loved, and it was from when I went back and was, for some reason, put myself through rewatching some of the game from yesterday.
You glutton for punishment.
I just, it didn't hurt me enough yesterday. And one thing I will say I loved, it was one play, and it was before halftime when the pressure was coming down on Will Levis, and he was able to escape the sack, roll out, get his footing back under him, and hit Calvin Ridley for the first down. That play, and then the play to Tyler Boyd on the corner route where he is absolutely taking a shot and delivers a perfect ball. That'll be my little bit of love I give to this game.
And I will say from my end, I said, this is probably why we shouldn't work angry, especially at halftime, because there was definitely some anger pumping through this just whole scenario. I will have to say, I was happy. I loved the effort they showed in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't mind-blowing, but I love the fact they came out and put up a fight. They didn't roll over and die. They actually went out and just tried. And I felt I felt better after that. I didn't feel great about the whole situation, but at least you gave me something. I was like, okay, we showed something.
Right.
It wasn't an overall effort of where I felt like, yeah, here we go. We got some momentum. Let's go, guys. Yippee. No, nothing like that. But at least I saw some energy. And it's easy to lay down and just roll over and just basically die after this whole situation just unraveled. But I do feel positive about that. So the nothing is not so much 100% true. But if you want to put it from maybe an 80-20 percentage, yeah, the 80% of nothing. There was nothing we loved 80% of the game.
Yep.
So let's get to the hate part. This was pretty easy. I think this is kind of a little bit of vindicated. Yes, I feel very confident in saying I hated everything about this. I hated the officiating. I hated the officials. I hated the coaching. I hated some of the adjustments. I hated Dan Quinn. I hate Washington Stadium. I hate Dan Snyder is still somehow involved in this scenario, but I'm still making it something because I need to throw hate out in every direction because everybody's catching strays. I hate the fact that this team plays in Maryland, but they should play in D.C. because RFK should be like torn down and rebuilt in the same spot because it's a premier spot for a stadium. And I hate the fact that they have to pay $20 for popcorn. Is that true? I don't know, but I'm going to hate it anyway. Tyler, jump on.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. And look, again, everyone, we were making this list by halftime. So by halftime, yeah.
And now Tyler's camera's going on the DL. So I hate that too. There's hate going all around. Anybody else want to catch strays? Let's go. Ugh. I love you guys. You keep me sane. But believe me, this game definitely added a few gray hairs, and I guess Tyler just couldn't take it anymore. His camera basically just died on us. And he's disappeared. What can I say? The hate killed his camera. What can I say? We'll get him back shortly, though. But I swear, just the whole game where there was just so much bad that went on, and it was hard to find a lot of positives. I think we got Tyler back, bro, so we're good. So, Tyler, are we good on your end?
We good now? I can hear y'all. I could always hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, we can hear you for sure. The hate was too powerful.
Okay, good deal.
No, bad deal. We about had to put your camera on the DL.
Yeah. I'm telling you. But
Willie making a good point there. Your camera basically just turned into the defense basically midway through.
Yeah, there we go. Look, my camera fumbled the coverage there. I'm just going to
You know what?
calling
It's going to be
Jaquan
okay.
Jackson.
It's going to be okay. I'm going to vote for your camera to go to the Pro Bowl. So it'll be
awesome.
all right.
Would love nothing more than to watch my camera fumble at the Pro Bowl.
I mean, why not? Might as well find something good. Thank you, Tommy. We're trying to find anything funny about today anyway, because yesterday sucked so bad and you guys deserve better. I will say that on authority. You guys deserve so much better. Nobody wants to just show up 4 hours and leave disappointed. Well, anyway, that's enough hate for this point because Tyler's camera is going to explode at this point. So let's get to anything that surprised us. Yep, let's just go with that. Massive letdown. Unfortunately, I will say there was some small surprises there. And let's talk about that small surprise. Tyler, Will Levis is playing better each game, and it's very much noticeable. So, is Levis building a strong case to have the 2025 season for himself?
He is. He's one thing that I've talked to you about and that we've kind of mentioned on the show is with the way he's played since coming back from injury, if he could continue to just show slight improvements each and every week and show that he's getting better and not falling back into those terrible mistakes that he was making at the first of the year, then, he's making a strong case for 2025. And I think, one thing that surprised me that we talked about he needed to work on was his movement in the pocket. And I saw the comment earlier talking about how Levis, for most of the game, was, pretty much in obvious passing situations. Like they were down by a lot. They were going to have to pass. And only lost 2 yards on 2 sacks. and that was from Willie that commented that. And I felt like he navigated the pocket well. And I don't think any of the sacks yesterday were because of what he did, which is an improvement.
I hope Willie's playing with me on this comment because Brownlee saying players were cold and frigid Arctic 40-degree temps. Put on one of those coats, dude.
After the game, that was another thing I hated. Brownlee did make a comment after the game about how he thought the cold maybe affected some players. And I'm like, cold? Like, that's not a cold game.
I mean, it was chilly.
Yeah, it might have been a little chilly, but come on. I mean, you got Packers players and Bills. You got Bills players playing out in the snow yesterday, doing snow angels, this and that. Like, come on.
Just throw on some longs, man. Come on. You guys got plenty of equipment. I'm sure they could have got anything with long sleeves if you needed it. Oh, Lord. Well, was there a player of the game? Probably not on this list, but I'm sure we found one. Yeah, well, there was, apparently. So, you can't spell win without NWI, so even with 2 drop passes, Tyler, he's definitely the breath of fresh air and the surprising player that might get an extension in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with the way he's playing, what is it, 8 touchdowns through the past 8 weeks?
Don't die on me, camera. Fight it. You can fight it. Come on. I know you can fight this, camera. Fight with me.
Like,
I'm losing him. I'm losing him. I'm losing him. I'm losing him. Clear. Ugh. I lost another one. I'm sorry, guys. I did all I can do. I'm going to have to put Tyler's camera down. That's the hardest part of the job. But in the meanwhile, while we revitalize Tyler's camera, enjoy this clip. Shout out to Taron Davenport for letting us use it. And of course, don't know what he's talking about. Enjoy.
That's how you get jumped on. You give people short fields like that. You can't do. We didn't bow up either on defense in that spot. But again, gave them 2 really short fields to go score, and all of a sudden you 14-0 real fast. Couldn't get any rhythm going offensively. Got to some manageable 3rd downs, and we got a ball batted on 3rd and short, and then we fumbled the ball in the possession. So couldn't get much going, and that's what happened.
And that's pretty much what did happen. And for my next trick, I will make a Tyler appear.
Don't know for how long, but I'm back.
All right, quick thought. Closing out the game, what was your takeaway from this game, and what should the Titans be doing to prepare themselves for Week 14, Tyler? Go.
The game sucked, and to prepare themselves, wake up this week.
I agree, and I also agree. And if your camera dies again, I've got the paddles on standby. All right, guys, we're going to take our last break, and when we come back, we will close up shop and get you all out to Monday Night Football because it will be a doozy as the Browns and Broncos will play each other. This should be fun, but quick break. We'll be right back, and trust me, we'll get you out there on time.
You're watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Guys, what can I say? For a show that I thought was going to be just dull and just uninteresting, you guys showed up, showed out, and showed love, whether it was comments, whether it was super chats. You made this a fun show tonight. Without you, it wouldn't have been anything fun to talk about. So as always, Round of applause for you guys. And don't forget, guys, if you love the show, help it grow. Follow us on all our social media platforms, whether it be TikTok, whether it be X, whether it be Facebook, whether it be YouTube. Make sure you show us some love. Tighten up that like button and, of course, share and subscribe, because those are the things that help us continue to put out great content for you, the viewer, as the Titan Upload Network will continue to do what we can to make this a fun season, regardless of everything that's falling in disarray. Kind of like Tyler's camera. But that's not his fault. Just sometimes things happen. That's all I can say. Even everybody's getting in on the jokes. Willie said your camera's been brought to you by the special teams of the Tennessee Titans. So, I mean, if anything, we're probably going to have to maybe get Mason Kenzie's camera in on here if we can. Maybe Upload can make a call. I don't know. We will if we don't pony up. They need to do what it takes to keep him. He's proven to fit the system and have the chemistry with Levis. And I agree, Willie. Hopefully that's the case. I don't think it's much of a situation where you've got a guy, you should probably pay him. Hint, hint. 2021, I'm looking at you. But I digress. Guys, we love you. We love you showed up and showed out, but we got to get you out to Monday Night Football. So let's close up shop. Tyler, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Getting into segment 3. Give me my damn theme music.
Closing time. Good night, losers.
And, of course, next week, the Titans are back in Nashville to face the Trevor Lawrence-less Jacksonville Jaguars in an AFC South divisional matchup. Tyler, who do you like? What are the Titans going to have to do in order to get the dub? Man, you couldn't even give me that.
I'm going with a tie at this point almost. No, look, Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence, the Jags have, I mean, overall, they've been a bad team this year, just like the Titans have. I guess give me the Titans at home. Maybe this beating that they took against Washington is enough to make them wake up this week and refocus.
And it really doesn't matter what I say. You all know who I'm going to pick. So give me the Appalachian Choo-Choos against the Scrubby Dubbies of Saskatchewan in a tieless 0 match, 44-70, 11 Orange. And in the meantime, Monday Night Football. Tonight on ESPN, Monday Night Football, where the Broncos host the Cleveland Browns. So, Tyler, who do you like in the Monday night matchup against the surprising, rejuvenated Denver Broncos against a scrappy little Cleveland Browns team?
I'm going to take the home team. I'm taking the Broncos. They've been playing well this year, really surprised me. And, I mean, really, that Broncos defense has looked, I mean, really good this year. I think, Jameis, he's not afraid to throw it around, but it's probably going to be a game where he has a couple of picks. So, yeah.
I mean, that's fair. I do think the Broncos are going to get a little bit of the fits, especially early on with this Browns defense. So it wouldn't shock me if we see a low-scoring affair here, but I do like the Broncos. So let's go with the Broncos 13-10. I like a good defensive
I'm going to go.
I think Bo Nix is going to get challenged
Broncos
by this
21.
Defense. Okay,
I'm going to say Broncos 21, Browns 14.
All right, you feel confident. I feel you. I just feel more of a defensive side, so no worries. Just remember, you are allowed a tie, and I could have held you to a tie on that Titans game. So just think about that. So the tie is still there if you want it. If you don't want it, then that's fine. But I'm just saying it's there. No worries. I just don't want you to think that I didn't let you have the opportunity to put a tie out there if you wanted to. I mean, it's right there.
I'm gonna hold off on the tie right now.
Okay, I don't want us coming back on Monday and then the tie happens and then we get a whole bad scenario here. It was like I could have had the tie.
Oh my gosh!
Just so frustrating. I know. But guys, as always, thank you for joining us on the Power Hour tonight. You were phenomenal. The comments were phenomenal. You make the show go. You are a phenomenal audience. And one more time before we get out of here, round of applause to you guys as well. So to get out of here, guys, let's get everything rolling as it should. So to start out, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms because we need your help to continue to get this thing rolling in the right direction. Even if it is a bad season, we're still going to put out great shows for you, whether it's Upload, whether it's Rossi or myself. We will get that done. So make sure if you get out of here, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell for more notifications in the future so you can get to see any of us on the Titan Upload Network. And we will be continuing the last of the 6 watch parties. They're going to be a blast. So just jump in regardless. Win, lose, Upload's always fun to watch. And of course, tomorrow night, guys, AFC South Roundtable. Rossi will be on there. We need you there in full force. Yeah, we lost, but hey, the Jaguars lost too, and the Texans are, winning barely, and the Colts are winning against the Patriots. But hey, we need your help, so get out there and support Rossi. I promise you, it's a great show. Check it out this Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, new BS report every Saturday. Check us out on TikTok Live. Make sure you go to the Titan Talk podcast TikTok page in order to watch the show. So we'll figure that out. We'll get enough views to eventually get back on there. It's a work in progress, but you getting us there makes it progress. And of course, shout out to one of our sponsors, recoveryunplugged.com, using music to heal the broken soul within. So where the time has come for you to make a change, go to recoveryunplugged.com at 844-305-8599 or reach out to Titan Rossi for more information because recovery is possible at Recovery Unplugged. And of course, guys, if you want more amazing content, we've joined Blue Sky as well. So check out our page, follow and subscribe because we want to make sure we're on every platform possible so you don't miss out on anything. That's how you become innovative and rejuvenative. That's just how we roll the Titan Upload Network. Well, all right, Tyler, before we get out of here, last word of the show. What do you got for us?
Hope everyone has a good week after tonight's show and getting everything out there.
I gave him the best I could, Tyler. Jeez, way to throw me under the bus.
You know what I meant,
Jeez.
Mike.
Oh, do I?
You know what I meant.
I'm sorry you had to come and watch the show. Poor you.
No.
Oh my God!
Well, on that note, hope you all have a great week as well from me. But I promise you, hopefully we'll be talking about a win this next Monday. So enjoy Monday Night Football. So for Tyler Staggs, I'm your host, Michael Bishop. And as always, take care and tighten up.
Tighten up.
If you want to, I'm just saying.
You're watching the Titan Upload Network.